Great. So tell me what happened?
Well, first of all, background, I was at the Detroit AV Counting Board at the TCF facility starting on November 3rd at around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I was there through well after 5 p.m. on the 4th. So I was there during all the crazy periods, if you will, when all kinds of suspicious activity was occurring.
Right. So you said till 5 a.m. on the 4th. Is that correct?
No, 5 p.m. It was over 24 hours.
Oh my
straight.
gosh!
So it was a long day, and I can tell you with all the stuff going on there, I actually didn't need a caffeine supplement to stay alert because the adrenaline was on overtime.
Incredible.
Overcharge there.
Yeah, I bet.
We had a good team there, and overnight there's about 30 of us poll challengers monitoring events. Not a lot of counting going on overnight, but one of the first things that I did when I went into the counting board was my background is as a Microsoft certified small business specialist.
Wow.
And so I'm a bit of an IT geek. I actually did cabling design on space stations, so naturally I had an affinity to go check out what are all the connections inside the facility. I wanted to see how they were wiring all the equipment, because they had dozens of tabulator machines, dozens of adjudicator machines. They had precinct laptops which contained the electronic poll books, and they had a central stage where they had all the Detroit election official computers. And so I went in and tried to observe. I wanted to verify that these computers were connected to the internet, which is a election integrity no-no.
Okay.
And sure enough, we got visual confirmation that there were indeed internet connections. They had an Ethernet cable coming out of the wall that was popped into a router. That router was connected to all the tabulators and all the adjudicators, and then connected to another router, and connected to another router that was connected up to all the Detroit election officials.
Oh my gosh.
And not to mention, there were multiple Wi-Fi routers all over the place, and when you do a Wi-Fi network scan, one of the networks that was, or one of the connection points was AV_counter. So I would submit that there was internet connectivity. Yet when I asked the senior Detroit election official present at the counting board, his name was Daniel Baxter, I said, "Mr. Baxter, are these computers connected to the internet?" And he said, "No." When I went up to his second in command later in the evening, David Nathan is a former state rep that I served with when I was in the Senate. And I said, "David, are these connected to the internet?" And he said, "No." And I go, "Well, can you help me out on this?" And all you got to do is roll the mouse cursor over that little LAN connectivity icon, and it'll say connected to the internet or not. You're not interfering with anything related to the elections at all. You're just going off and verifying it's not connected to the internet.
Right.
And he refused to do so, and he said, "Trust me." I said,
Wow.
"You may have been lied to. So I just want to go off and you can confirm it for us once and for all right now." And he said, "Nope, you're just going to have to trust me." Well,
Wow.
I don't trust him.
Sure.
So, and there are all kinds of other indicators, such as we had an error message pop up on one of the computers at the county board, and a warning popped up, something like "Warning: This computer is being hacked." That was at 10 o'clock in the morning on November 3rd.
Wow. Do we have evidence of that, or?
Yes, a good friend of mine is a lawyer. She actually witnessed the poll worker who witnessed it, and so I think she's got an affidavit filled out on that topic. I don't have it personally, but I'm pretty sure that was filed.
Okay.
Second of all, well, I don't know if you heard what happened in Antrim County. So this is all in Wayne County. Detroit's located in Wayne County. In Antrim County, it's up in northern Michigan. It's a much smaller county, obviously, than Wayne County.
Right.
And you heard about the glitches in the software as they were characterizing it, right?
Correct.
The voting systems?
Correct.
Well, that same system's in 47 of our 83 counties.
Right.
And including Detroit. and I have it on good authority from a whistleblower that one of the co-owners of Dominion Voting Systems was actually the guy on the stage in Detroit that was keeping me from getting close inspection of the cable routing.
Oh my gosh! Do we have a name for him? Can we double check that?
It's Nick is his first name, and I can't confirm he's an owner. I've only been told that he's an owner.
Right.
Nick is his first name, and his last name is actually in an affidavit that was sent up. And it's going to get updated because they got the wrong last name the first time. So as soon as I get the last name, it'll be out there.
Oh, okay. So you don't have anything right now? Yeah.
Don't have the last name. We know what the name is. I just don't know off the top of my head. I can phone call away from getting it. But,
okay.
So it all adds up to, right now Michigan is a little over 146,000 votes to the deficit for President Trump. I would submit there's a lot of onesie, twosie, I call them kind of penny ante issues because they're changing thousands of votes. The computer access to the internet has potential of changing hundreds of thousands of votes.
Sure.
And they've seen that before in Dallas for the 2018 election, for example. So I've got serious concerns on that. We've got affidavits on other matters that were more straightforward, such as backdating envelopes from November 4th to November 2nd. We have poll workers that were instructed to do that. It impacted thousands of votes that shouldn't have been counted that were counted. We've got examples of violation of Michigan election law. When they're doing ballot duplications, you're supposed to have a Republican and a Democrat present during the duplication. It's particularly important for military ballots because they come in a different format, and they all have to be duplicated to get them to conform to the tabulation scanner format. So if you don't have a Republican there, the odds of somebody afflicted with Trump derangement syndrome going up and circling Trump on the duplicate ballot are pretty much nil.
Right.
So, and that affects thousands of ballots there. So there's a whole bunch of incidents that we have documented that can lead to thousands of ballots being invalidated, if you will, or fraudulent. And I would submit that the network access, the internet access, particularly in concert with various computer programs that have been out there and documented in the past as being used to manipulate elections, provides the opportunity for hundreds of thousands of votes being swayed.
That's amazing. Do you think a recount would correct that or catch that?
No, here's the issue, and I wrote an op-ed on this a while back in the Detroit News. If you go to DetroitNews.com and search for my name, you'll see a whole bunch of op-eds. I've been trying to sound the alarm bell on this for quite a while. I used to serve as vice chair in the Senate Elections Committee, and they refused to take up any testimony. I was working with Catherine Engelbrecht, if you know who she is.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so Catherine's a dear friend of mine, and my engineering background, I went off and diagrammed out all the different election processes in the flow diagram and identified where the failure modes were and where were the key control artifacts. And so we've gone off and done and documented this and put out warnings to everybody. So now I think people might take election integrity seriously. But the key thing I'm getting to with that is that in our current process, if you do not have a balanced precinct, it's not subject to a recount for the votes that were cast stand. So in the city of Detroit, in the August 4th primary, 72% of the precincts did not ballot. That meant that the number of ballots did not equal the number of votes that were supposed to be cast for the poll book.
Wow.
And so the value of a recount in that context is dubious, right? Because they're still going to be cast. There's nothing you can do officially in a recount to go up and change that vote tally.
Right.
And so once you tear off that ballot stub with the ticket number on the ballot, and you have separated yourself from any way of going off and correlating the voter to the ballot.
Right. So
they prey on that. They do that deliberately. We've seen they tamper with the seals directly afterwards, and which nullifies it as well, and not subject to recount. It's a game that's being played to steal the election.
And it's not just in Detroit. It sounds like that's what they do in several of these states. Yeah. So once they have all the illegal votes in the pot, they just stir the pot, and you'll never find them.
Exactly.
And you can't.
Once it gets to the system, I mean, there's 4 key election artifacts. Number 1 is a QVF, the Qualified Voter File or Voter Registration File.
Mm-hmm.
Our Secretary of State entered into a partnership with Rock the Vote so that they could have direct access to the QVF and enter in data on their own.
Wow.
Number 2, they went down to for the electronic poll books. Well, if they're not, they were actually going to send. Well, anyway, in Detroit, because now we have same-day voter registration thanks to a ballot proposition passed in 2018.
Wow.
Due to that, what they had, we had more than an electronic poll book. We not only had an electronic poll book, but they provided paper supplements for all the same-day voters. And then the city clerk's office was still allowing ballots that were not on the electronic or the paper supplement poll book to be counted and tabulated as votes. So
oh my God, that's crazy. So then you got all those extra votes.
Right.
Do we have any idea how many that is?
Thousands.
Wow.
Thousands. So, I mean, all these control breaches, once you breach the dam upstream, everything downstream is compromised.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Sure. Absolutely.
So anyway, that's what we're pursuing. There's a lawsuit. I don't know if you've seen it. It's filed.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an affidavit in that lawsuit for the Great Lakes Justice Center. We're working on it late last night, and we've also got an affidavit from one of the IT workers testing to incidents of voter fraud as well.
Okay. All right. Here's a couple questions. One is there's this far left group that wrote an article because we mentioned that county in Upper Michigan that had the problem with the software. And in their article, it's called Lead Stories is the name of the outfit, and they mention us in their article. They say, well, we talked to the Secretary of State, and she said, it was just a human error.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Right. She said it was just a human error, and it was all fixed. So, what do you think of that? Is that make sense or no?
No, it doesn't make sense at all. This is systemic, and it's very interesting how the software glitch. The timestamp that I've heard reported on the software glitch in Antrim County on November 3rd at 10 a.m. is the same time that people saw a error message pop up on their screen in Detroit saying, warning, this computer is being hacked.
Oh, wow. And that was November 3rd or 4th? That was the 4th, right?
November 3rd. That was on Election Day.
Oh, on Election Day. Wow. And so that's the exact same time that the thing... Oh, that's a separate story there.
Yeah, and be careful on that one, because until I see an affidavit saying both of those, it's hearsay from the
right.
had it shared with. But
now, do you have
I'm getting pretty good at the affidavits, and if I get the affidavits, I can forward them.
Oh, that'd be great. And do you...
your email address.
Okay, great. And also, do you have photos of the Ethernet cord in the computers or anything that would kind of show that this
We have some photos, and frankly, that's my biggest regret from the whole evening, is that I should have taken photos of the whole dang thing, but they prey on the fact that we're all Boy Scouts, so when we're told by the people in charge, don't use cell phones, we don't use cell phones.
Right.
So,
they take advantage of our integrity.
Right, but the law only prohibits taking photos of ballots.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so we do have some photos, and I can share them. I can text them to you.
That'd be great.
They're not great photos. They're kind of taken quickly as people were walking by, kind of clandestine. So, but it's just all this stuff. By the way, it goes all the corruption starts well before November 3rd.
Sure.
And there's a lot of COVID overlay to this, but it's also dealing with the ballot initiative that they put into play and passed in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that what they've been doing has been planned for quite a while.
Oh yeah, and you know what I believe is they still they always have their fraud baked in, but I think this year They were even swept off their feet when they saw that Donald Trump had such a huge, turnout and support. And I think that's when they just put in all these extra measures that are just obvious fraud.
All hands on deck. They just threw it all in there. They did a nice little color fitting list on all the different frauds.
Yeah.
And a best of series. I mean, they tried every trick in the book.
Isn't that amazing? And you know what is also interesting, Senator, is the fact that this didn't just happen in Michigan, but they stopped the voting in several of these swing states to regroup and plan their strategy.
Right. At midnight. I mean, literally, we had poll workers twiddling their thumbs for 4 hours. We had military ballots ready to count and distribute during that time frame, but they didn't want to touch them during that time frame. They could have done it.
Right.
They didn't want to do it then because they had to figure out what their goal was.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just so obvious. So, okay. Well, now can I put some of this on a YouTube video so people can hear it, or no? Is that okay? We'll just put the audio.
Whatever you need. I'm in the mode right now. Just so you understand, there's two threads to our fight to preserve America here, and it is a fight.
Sure.
Number one, it's a media fight. So right now, most of the mainstream media folks are proclaiming Joe Biden as the next president.
Oh yeah.
And that's a false-faced lie, and that's part of the deception that's going on right now. So we need to counter that and get as loud as possible with the truth about, no, guys. When all the legal votes are counted, Joe Biden will not be the president. So I guess in a funny way, it's kind of nice because them going off and asserting Joe's the president is the best of both worlds, because they can be happy for a while, and then on January 20th, we can be happy for the next 44 years here.
There you go.
So, but anyway, so that PR thread is important. So any way we can get out the word on this. I mean, your story on the vote switch that happened has been one of the most prominent stories out there to get the word out that, something's rotten in Denmark.
That's great.
That up.
Thank you so much.
It's a race right now. It's a race between making sure people don't roll over from the media barrage, trying to get them to believe that Joe Biden's president, and give enough opportunity for the legal track to take root so that we can get the truth out.
Terrific. I agree. All right, Senator, we're gonna post this up, and if you have more, please send it to me. And if you could send me some pictures of the Ethernet evidence, that would be really powerful if we had a picture or something.